Hello, everybody, all across this great Commonwealth of Virginia. I understand now more than ever that people are more concerned about their gun rights more than ever. And now law enforcement has been impacted negatively because of spite by politicians in Richmond. As you already know, I run off the platform that I'm not a politician. I'm a straight shooter. I deal with ordinary people all across the Commonwealth and present their issues as best as possible that make Virginia great again. We are now in a time where we can't wait later. We must act now. Politicians in Richmond is not going to stop them from taking our guns. They have had their opportunity. For the last 10 years, we have been put in a situation now where people in Richmond, politicians who don't care, who campaign off of fraud, and now are delegating abuse of their powers without no kind of remorse. There's a different type of level that we now have to be on, due to the fact that we are all being affected by the policies coming out of Richmond, and who we are as Virginians is being taken away inch by inch. And eventually they're going to take them out. Now, to the sheriffs and to the deputies that lost their increase in pay due to the fact that you were standing up for our rights, not as politicians, but as far as your oath to uphold all the laws from the U.S. Constitution to the Virginia Constitution. And you saw those laws being infringed upon on the very citizens that you swore to protect and serve. Now, the politicians in Richmond are not going to do anything because they feel like you went against them, the Democrats. The very ones that you have to protect and put your life on the line for every single day, whether they're a Democrat, Republican, or whether they are the ordinary citizen. You have been there every single time frame when the call of duty has been done or made. I call on the sheriff deputies to deputize citizens now, not later, not when the laws affect people later. Deputize them now, law-abiding gun owners. If they are going to send a message that if police and law enforcement and the sheriff do not do what we want them to do, which is counter to our constitutional rights, then it is incumbent as a duty upon you sheriffs and law enforcement to deputize your citizens from a corrupt state government. There's no time more important than now to act. If they are going to send you a message that says we are going to go against who you are and what you do, and make sure that you have to struggle harder because of politics, it is your duty to know and recognize that government, and then to respond back with a fight back attitude that says we are going to make sure if you pass these gun control measures, we deputize our citizens so it has no kind of effect. Now, that is a special duty that the Virginia Constitution and those bills and legislators passed from way before your time. It was there just in case for situations like this. The sheriff in Culpeper called for this. And I want other sheriffs to recognize you have a duty to respond. You have a duty to protect and serve. And you have a duty to protect every citizen's constitutional rights. And if this is another way to do so, act now, not later. Because at the next election, we may not have the opportunity to get this job done now. So I call on all sheriffs to find all law-abiding citizens and decide to deputize them now against a corrupt state government. 2A is a moral issue also. And if you don't have the backbone and spine, or if you are running or being a politician as a sheriff, you have no business being a sheriff during this time. There's a such thing to make the tough calls and the tough decisions. And you stand with your local government against a corrupt government that we call run by Democrats. If you love Virginia, the citizens are going to stand behind you, locked and loaded. The militias is going to stand behind you, locked and loaded, side by side you, even on the front lines. But nobody should threaten your way of taking care of your families while you protect theirs and decide to use politics to punish you for doing the right thing. Now, I can say all I want about all the different ways I plan on taking care of it after I become governor. But too many politicians right now are more worried about the endorsement and appeasing Democrats than doing the right thing. That's why we have the lack of leadership. Too many people trying to take credit for when bills fail, but don't want to take the credit when the bills pass or the responsibility. So I tell sheriffs all across Virginia, even chiefs of police all across Virginia, where 2A resolutions have been passed and whether it's been passed or not in your locality. Deputize your citizens now, not later. Because like I said, later may be too late. And how much can somebody stand, or how much can a sheriff or a chief of police stand by the citizens of Virginia and Virginia doesn't stand up for them? The time is now, not later. We can't procrastinate on this anymore. Because our rights, your duty to protect the Constitution, and our duty to make sure our rights and privileges and guarantees are submitted in the paperwork, which Democrats are breaching every single day. We must make this happen. Virginia, you must support your sheriffs and tell them the time to act is now. Don't let the politicians act after they're elected and take your rights away. So demand action now, not later. This is your 2021 candidate for governor of Virginia, Merle Rutledge, making the call of urgency. This is the state of emergency now, not later, to make sure your citizens' right to bear arms have more strength and teeth. Not shallow promises of maybe we can keep guns delayed, gun confiscation delayed down the road. A maybe isn't a guarantee, but you exercising your duty to go against a corrupt government exactly is. And everybody in the Commonwealth of Virginia, you have a good night, but Sheriff, pay attention. You fight back. You respond back. And let them politicians in Richmond know. You come after us, this is what we are capable of. And good night.